Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, she just shocked a lot of people with what she said about President Trump and a third term. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. You know, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, she's kind of an enigma. I've used that word before today, but she's kind of an enigma because sometimes she makes decisions and conservatives love them. Sometimes she makes decisions and conservatives hate them. But more and more lately, she's been making decisions that I think conservatives have been on board with. And she sat down for an interview on Fox News with Barrett, and she was asked point blank about Trump, who has hinted about running for a third term as president. Now, this is an idea that was floated by several people, including Steve Bannon. Trump has not said, no, I won't run for a third term. And the reason, I think, is because he likes to troll the left. He knows he can't. He knows, well, at least I think he knows he can't. And I think he knows he wouldn't do it. Especially at his age, I think, man, you're going to want to retire, right? This is a tough job. I mean, this job ages the young. So imagine what it's done to people like President Biden and President Trump who are of advanced age. It's a tough job. You have literally the job with the weight of the world on your shoulders. There is no other job in the world where you have as much responsibility as President of the United States. No other country's leader has that. So Amy Coney Barrett was asked about it. Well, what if Trump does attempt to go for a third term? And this case would obviously go to the Supreme Court. Well, she talked about the amendment that bars or precludes people from having a third term as president, which was implemented after 4 terms of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who people felt was becoming a dictator, and it scared them that one guy could get 4 terms. It didn't seem to be the American way that somebody could stay in office for over a decade. And Amy Coney Barrett was very clear about this. She said that the text of the amendment is very clear. And she was asked again, she was pressed, and she kept saying the text of the amendment is very clear. She didn't say, no, Trump can't run for a third term, though. That's interesting. It's interesting that she wouldn't point blank say it. Listen, I'm here to tell you he can't. I'm here to tell you there's no way that case would make it past the Supreme Court. But her answer, again, is interesting. I want you to watch it and let me know what you think in the comments.
And for the folks who say, well, the founders were dealing with completely different problems back then. They were not contemplating what a country could look like decades later. How do you, they want a living, breathing Constitution that changes. How do you respond to that?
The genius of our Constitution, and I talk about this in the book when I describe originalism and describe our written Constitution, is that it's written at varying levels of generality. So sometimes it's very specific. The president has to be at least 35 years old. But sometimes it's very general. We're protected from unreasonable searches and seizures. We have freedom of speech. And to have freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have freedom only to pass out pamphlets in a town square. I mean, it means that you have freedom to be on broadcast news.
Right, and the 22nd Amendment says you can only run for office for 2 terms. True. You think that that's cut and dry?
Well, that's what the amendment says, right? After FDR had 4 terms, that's what that amendment says.